Hi everyone, I'm Erin. Hi. Older people aren't someone else. They are you. They are every one of us. Even if not right now, think carefully about the system you want to grow old in. Beginning with the powerful words of Natalie Segal-Brown, Inspector General of Aged Care. And thank you for the invitation to share our story and our journey so far, of which I really believe we are at the very beginning of what is truly possible. The Royal Commission for Aged Care called for aged care system reform that should be brave. It should be innovative. It should actually fix some of the issues that people talk about. The Human Rights-Based Aged Care Act starts on the 1st of November, a powerful foundation for service redesign. Legislation that prioritises kindness, compassion, dignity, autonomy, well-being, and community. This new act specifically recognises the right to social and spiritual well-being, to stay connected with people, pets, and community, to participate in public life, and, if the individual is Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander, the right to stay connected to country, community, and island home. However, the Inspector General's recent report, released on the 4th of September, does question whether the government's aged care funding reforms are too clinically focused and impact the ability of services to bring the legislated commitment of high-quality healthcare to life. High-quality healthcare is not just clinical care. It's holistic, person-centred, that features those things central to well-being: social, cultural connection, spirituality, and ties to place. The report says, while people as they age want good clinical care, it's typically not their priority. They want the independence to maintain these connections and the support to fulfil critical aspects of their quality of life. So not only are task and clinically focused systems not sustainable, they also do not account for what older people have actually said they want and need. Without greater focus on incorporating a social model, we risk ongoing experiences of loneliness, learned helplessness, lack of self-agency, and internalised ageism. Compassionate communities' approaches in aged care are not a nice to have, they are essential. At Bupa, our purpose is helping people live longer, healthier, happier lives and making a better world. We have a person-first approach to care. Compassionate communities is deeply aligned to our purpose. By adopting this approach, we make use of one of the most effective interventions in helping people live longer, healthier, happier lives: meaningful, reciprocal, non-transactional social connections. At Bupa, we have 57 care homes across Victoria, New South Wales, South Australia, and Queensland, home to approximately 5,500 residents and supporting their families. We see these homes as communities. They include residents and their own families. It's their home first and foremost. Care team members, volunteers, visitors, citizens, and organisations and services within the local area. These communities are so rich in skills and assets and resources. By identifying these, we can move away from thinking what is wrong to what is the potential. Given the challenges facing our country, our ageing population, stretched professional services, the idea of death and grief as taboo topics, we saw the need for compassionate communities in end-of-life care in aged care. In June, we released our palliative and end-of-life care framework, which details our commitments in this space over the next 2 years. Our palliative approach is about living. It's proactive rather than... Could you just be a bit closer? Yeah, rather than reactive. Thank you. Our average length of stay is 2.5 years. It's our privilege and our honour to walk beside residents, their families and their supporters at this time of their life's journey, where compassion leads the way. Our objective is quality of life, death and grief, whatever that may mean to the individual person, their family and their supporters every time. We achieve this through our commitments across 4 pillars. Pillar 1 This includes the development, our service delivery, the development of our palliative approach pathway, which starts from admission, early recognition of palliative care needs, through to holistic advanced care planning conversations, building a culture of what matters most to the resident and their family. The right equipment in every home, including syringe drivers and access to anticipatory medicines 24/7, residents' last days in their place of choice, wherever that may be, a dignified final journey, and bereavement care for those left behind. Pillar 2 are people. This is about the right education, training, and portfolio roles to support high-quality palliative and end-of-life care, but also co-design debrief and community care opportunities to be able to continue in this meaningful work. Aged care workers also experience frequent loss of valued family-like connections. Pillar 3 is compassionate communities, and Pillar 4, governance and leadership, the foundation for this. So our communities support each other in life's toughest times of caring, dying and grieving. We know about the 95% rule. In residential aged care, even with 215 care minutes, a person will still spend around 70% or most of their awake time with family, friends, community. Compassionate communities is practical recognition that no service alone can meet the needs of ageing, caring and dying. As Samar says, while services are essential, they are not central, and they cannot replace the rich social networks that contribute to wellbeing at end of life. So this is why we have included compassionate communities as a standalone pillar in our framework. Our commitments in this space include starting a pilot, which will include testing out our ideas and the below, co-designing our compassionate communities charter with residents. And this is where it becomes sustainable. We have a framework in place to support this work, but it becomes community owned and run. The commitment 3.2 involves mapping and mobilising social and practical networks of support, recognising that for wellbeing at end of life, it takes neighbours, volunteers, cultural groups, schools, faith communities, families and friends working alongside formal care services. It takes society saying, "We walk with you." And it's not just for residents, so also supports families. An example of a conversation with a daughter whose mum had moved into one of our homes and is going well. However, she shared that her dad is now doing much worse. Having previously been his wife's carer, he is now at home, lonely, and without the purpose and companion that he had. Compassionate Communities helps here. Commitment 3.3, we build death, grief, literacy, develop capacity of people in the community to care for one another, like peer support groups, dying to know cafes run by residents. Commitment 3.4, Bupa care homes are supported by GPs and wellness hubs, so centralised nurse practitioner-led multidisciplinary teams. By local asset mapping, our NPs and dementia CNC and also care home teams can access and refer to rich community resources where appropriate. And some considerations that we've had on this journey of the development of our framework, these include change fatigue. There's a lot happening in aged care at the moment. Reform requirements have meant we are rethinking a paid compassionate connector role, and instead we consider how we can incorporate these type of tasks and principles into our existing work plans. A really key thing for starting this work is to have a strong leadership team supporting this approach. And we are lucky to have such a team here today. Many of them are here over there. Thank you for your supportive honking. Something we also begin to consider is how do we truly measure the success of this deeply human experience of compassion, community and dignity. And how are we optimistic and hopeful? How do we just know? We just know that this will work. Very simply, it's because it's our natural state of being. We're biologically primed towards friendship, love, kindness, compassion. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people and other First Nations from around the world have been doing compassionate communities for way over 65,000 years. We have so much to learn from them. There are so many support assets within aged care communities, just like our Greek social club at Clempton Park, our knitting club at Sutherland, the dementia support groups which are starting up, all creating connection, friendships, walking together in shared experience that affects us all. Anticipatory loss, cascading losses of friends, partners, loved ones along life's journey. So some examples here of these rich treasures and elements of compassionate communities becoming business as usual. We have a Dying to Know cafe recently which had amazing feedback. One resident is now going to tell her children and grandchildren how proud she is of them before it's too late. Nothing left unsaid. We're hosting twice yearly memorial services in every home, but we also have residents designing and running their own services for friends that they've lost. This particular service, down the bottom, it had 31 bereaved families attend. A guard of honour, which is often accompanied by a favourite song, where that's the person's preference. And we have our team testing out the new fold-out sofa beds, so we have those in every home for families so that they're welcome to stay with their loved one in their final days. We celebrate Advanced Care Planning Week and what matters most, and building community referrals for bereaved families. So this sign is a walking group in Wodonga, and we found that through treasure mapping, local assets, and we can now use that to signpost to residents and bereaved families in an area where there's a long wait for professional bereavement services. Thank you. Yeah, I did. Intergenerational programs in every home, and also so we begin to make space for grief tending, sharing with others, growing death and grief literacy.